We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully, your day is going well. By the time you hear this, it will be Thursday morning, but we're recording it on a live on TikTok. So, we're going to do a TikTok live here. We've got some of the regulars coming through, and I just want to let folks know that are showing up on this TikTok live, you're more than welcome to request to come up because we like to talk to a lot of folks, get some interesting perspectives, get some diverse perspectives, some ideas. A lot of smart people in the crowds that come to these lives, and we want to hear from you. So be sure to step up and request to come on the live. There's a bunch of stuff going on. Of course, the Epstein stuff continues. There's more and more stuff coming out about the Epstein files. Donald Trump insists that he's been totally absolved from the files because of what came out. And for the life of me, I don't know if it's because he's just trying to gaslight or he just doesn't really know. We know Donald Trump doesn't really read, and we know the people around him only want to tell him that keep the things that keep daddy happy. So it's hard to say whether or not Donald Trump is unaware or just stupid or just gaslighting. So I don't know that we'll ever know that for sure. There was something else that happened today, too, that we should talk about at some point in this live. Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. He's done a lot to the Washington Post to try to make it impotent in terms of its journalistic qualities. Now, the trouble with that is we've got the Washington Post, which was the main source for the Watergate situation. If not for the Washington Post and its reporters, we wouldn't have known what was going on. But now Jeff Bezos, with all kinds of money, bought the company. He kind of reined it in for a long time. And today he fired 300 journalists, which basically makes the Washington Post not resemble anything we've ever seen with the Washington Post before. So as well as attacking other amendments in the Constitution, now there's a serious attack on the First Amendment, the Free Speech Amendment. Donald Trump is arresting Don Lemon and some other reporters, admonishing reporters in press conferences. Jeff Bezos now basically making the Washington Post ineffective anymore in terms of a journalistic outlet. So there's a lot of stuff to talk about. We've got a bunch of people to pull up here. Some of the regular folks will show up here, and we'll talk to them a bit. And then again, as I said, those of you that are coming in to listen, I ask you to request to come up because we want to hear from as many people as possible. So be sure to pop on up, and we can talk about some things. All right, we've got some people up here now. I tried to invite Eric, and I haven't gotten him come up yet, Eric, the analytical Iowan. But who do we have here now? TJ the plumber and Rebecca. They're here every time. They're also moderators on this live, which is absolutely essential because there are Trumplafucks that love to come on and cause problems. Just so happens TJ and Rebecca love blocking those motherfuckers. So you'll probably have a good night tonight. Yeah. Trucker T is here, and Will from Georgia is here. Glad to see you guys all show up right from the get-go. What's on your minds, TJ?
Oh, not much. I'm just stewing every day. Same old.
My headset, or hold on a second here. TJ, do you have your mic on, or is it just me? Anybody else?
I have my mic on.
I don't know what's going on here. Hold on. We'll see if this works. I got a different headset.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead, TJ.
It's just, I don't know. It's the same frustration that it is every single day. You know, I I'm looking forward to the midterm elections. That's all I can say, really.
Don't you get tired, though, of people saying, well, just wait till the midterm elections? That's a year away, a little less than a year away, and things are falling apart now. The wheels are coming off on Donald Trump. There's bound to be something that happens before those midterms show up.
Well, a lot of my
Aren't you kind of angry about people not having an answer other than wait till the midterms?
but my dissatisfaction is the amount of laws that are being broken. What is that noise?
Oh, absolutely.
There was a loud noise. The amount of laws that are being broken, and I'm disappointed with the Epstein files. I'm disappointed with that. People are being protected that shouldn't be protected, and people are being persecuted that shouldn't be persecuted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what are you thinking? Well, no doubt you have some insights and some opinions.
You have to understand that the people that are supposed to prosecute these guys are in on it. Okay,
Right.
you heard Todd Blanchard saying, "Hey, it's not a crime to party with Jeffrey Epstein and underage girls. I don't see a problem with it."
And I would
He
just
said
say,
that. He said it out loud.
yeah, he said it out loud, and I would just say that if there is those kinds of activities going on in that party, being a participant in that party, whether you're participating in the actual crime, is also illegal. So he's flat out wrong about that.
But here's the thing. I mean, the British, the French, many countries are starting to open up investigations. So,
Right.
I mean, these are countries we have extradition treaties with. So we may not do anything because Trump owns the DOJ, but someone's going to do something, whether they like it or not. Elon's feeling heat. Elon's feeling heat for the French. The French want him badly
Yeah. Yeah,
because they raided
absolutely.
his offices the other day. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying, TJ, but I didn't expect anything other than the embarrassment. It's out there. If Trump didn't care about it, he wouldn't have been freaking out and jumping all over the CNN reporter. I mean, we know it's bugging him,
Yeah.
period.
Will, I honestly though, like, I don't think he knows the gravity of it because I think he's shielded from it, and I
Well, he
believe
still
that.
thinks the economy's fine. So, yeah,
Well,
I
that's
get
what I'm
you.
trying. That's what I'm trying to tell you is that all his sycophants around him in his cabinet are telling him, "Don't worry about it. You're fine. It's all good." Because, like I said on the podcast with Trucker the other night, he doesn't read anything. Okay, he doesn't read anything, and he's being fed this information that is obviously not true. So he thinks that it's no big deal, and he's absolved from any implication in the files.
The
But we know,
craziest thing about that is that he knows what he did, and the fact that
And he thinks he's fine with it.
thinks he's fine with it. Yeah, he thinks that he's not, that they just like struck him from the record. Like he's not.
I mean,
Well, you know,
the
what I
best.
know, what I know
Good.
about narcissists is this: is whether they know they're wrong or not, it doesn't make a difference. They will just go first to lying and trying to persuade you to believe what their lie is about. They will never admit they're wrong. Donald Trump will never ever admit he's wrong, no matter what. And it's just a natural reaction for them to say, "No, it's not," and then try to divert. That's the one thing we saw with Donald Trump
But
when Caitlin Collins was trying to talk to him about
yeah,
the Epstein files. And then he went off on some other tangent about her not smiling and that sort of thing. What we need is journalists to hit him with the Epstein files every time. When he doesn't answer or he gets mad, keep hitting him with it, because this is what'll break him down.
well, let me give you guys some kind of good news here in Georgia. Okay, a couple things. First of all, the Fulton County people know that he fucked them. So they're suing him in court. They're going after Tulsi Gabbard. The people in Fulton County are going to fight him every inch of the way. And also,
Right.
there's 6-year-old ballots. I mean, what are you going to do? Adjudicate that Italy was in on a conspiracy? Come on. I mean, it's just a wish list. The other thing is the Barry Laudermilk, the congressional congressman from the 11th district of Georgia, retired. He's out. They're going to
Right.
have to run that again. Marjorie Taylor Greene is out in the 14th district here in Georgia. They thought that this was going to be a pushover. Here's the problem. They got 27 people running for that. There's no primary. There's 3 Democrats and the rest are Republicans. Republicans are nervous that they're going to split the vote out. And they could lose that seat. They could lose the 11th. They're freaking out at what happened in Texas. They know that Trump may be done, but he knows he's in danger. He can
Well,
feel it.
let's be honest. Loudermilk is when he won his last election year and a half ago or whatever it was, he won by 12%. He had a pretty solid situation in his district. He's not so old that he's going to quit because of that. He's quitting because he's nervous about what's going on, not only with the Republicans, but I'll bet what happened in Fulton County is probably part of the reason he chose to retire or resign at the end of his term now, because he's seeing the writing on the wall. He knows he's going to lose. Now, I don't know if that means that a Democrat is going to win, but Loudermilk was part of this whole mess from the tour guide on January 6th to all the other ridiculous shit he's done since then. But we're going to see more of an exodus, I think, of people on the Republican side saying, fucking enough, I can't win, I'm leaving.
But the thing about it, everyone's in panic mode about the midterms, and I get it. I mean, Chuck Schumer's video of saying we're going to give Israel whatever they want, but fuck people and their ACA subsidies didn't sit well.
Right.
But what we're seeing here is that they think that they could take over the elections. They could do it in a few districts, but it doesn't mean they're going to win every district. They should know that even in the red districts, they're fucked because people are going, I don't give a shit about your MAGA agenda anymore. I need to be able to get a job and eat.
Right. Let me bring Trucker T in. Trucker T's been sitting there very silently. You're behaving quite well, and I appreciate that. But obviously, you have some thoughts about some of the bullshit going on.
I do have some thoughts about it. And since we're talking about the midterms, I would like to say to everyone, do not take your eye off of what's going on in your state. And I'll give you an example. I think we talked about one of these on your podcast the other day, where Indiana snuck in a provision where he's trying to get a secret military police to go out whenever he sees fit, right?
The governor's doing this.
Right. So now they snuck in something else just yesterday where they can rezone farmland that they deem non I forget the word they used, but I don't know, like whatever they called it. It was non something. And they can take that land and make it whatever they non-producing is what they called it. They can take that
Right.
land now and they can do whatever they want with it. They can drop in a data center without permission. They can drop in a fucking landfill without your permission. They can drop in an oil field without your permission now. And that just went up yesterday.
T, you're talking about
But-
like
but-
permanent
but-
eminent domain?
Hold on, Will. What I'm talking
Sorry.
about is they just passed this thing through the Senate. And the guy called him out on it. He says, hey, you were supposed to fix that before it got to the Senate. He said, and you know that. He said, yeah, I know it, but we didn't have a chance to fix it. So now it's going up. They don't know if it's going to pass without taking that provision out.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. That sounds like some sort of eminent domain thing.
Yeah. And they know that it's bad. And they wouldn't call it eminent domain. They just called it whatever the BS they called it. The video
Yeah,
came
they're
out today.
lying.
Are you sure that it's eminent domain and it's not over-ending EPA regulations? Because
I'm not calling
there-
it eminent domain. I'm
there's
just,
EPA. There's a lot of EPA regulations that require permitting, and they might be trying to go around the permitting for certain types of, projects that would otherwise require the permits.
they're calling it low producing farmland is what they're calling it.
So they're arbitrarily saying this farmland isn't good anymore, so we will do something different and whatever we want to do. That's just more the authoritarian shit carrying over from the federal government into Indiana. So I'm guessing
It
your
just passed
legislature
it.
is
It
pretty
says
much
Indiana.
Republican.
I just got they just passed it. Indiana. I just
Okay.
got the notice right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll end
Well,
up in court.
yeah, it will end up in court, just like the Georgia thing will end up in court. I'm going to pull somebody up here from the crowd. This is OG Ty 17. OG, what's up? OG Ty, are you there? Okay, he's not there. So, look, if you request to come up, make sure you're in a position to actually talk. We do want to hear from you and see what you're thinking at this point. Um, let's see here. Let's go with Greg Ball. Hey, Greg, how you doing? What's on your mind tonight? Greg? All right, we're going to talk amongst us for a while because we got some people that
Okay,
say
okay.
they want to come up but don't show up.
I have an answer about this bill.
Okay, go ahead.
So, what it is they're approving large scale projects on land deemed low quality soil, overriding local zoning and community input. So
What are the qualifications for them to deem it low quality soil?
I got to look further into that. I'm just reading the highlights of the bill here. So,
So there's not going to be any public hearings before
In
they
other-
grant permits. So
right.
TJ?
In other words, what they're saying is they can rezone something that's farmland into something like industrial without the approval of the public.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so they can repurpose some land. So JD Vance can repurpose the land for what he wants because he decided that it's like low quality soil.
Low quality. And the reason I brought that up is I don't know if you've seen the photos. Like sometimes I'll take pictures of my backyard. My entire backyard is cornfields or soybeans. I don't want a landfill back there.
Right. But it doesn't sound like you have a choice. It sounds like your government, your legislature is doing whatever the fuck they want, whenever the fuck they want.
Exactly. And that's why I say we need to pay attention to the midterms, because if any of those that are on that signed off on that bill, we need to vote them out.
Okay, it says the bill aims to allow large-scale projects such as data centers, solar farms, refineries, and smelting plants to be built on Indiana farmland without certain local approvals if the land consists of quote-unquote poor quality soil.
Right. So they're appropriating lands that they decide is low quality soil, and I'm sure they're going to build all those with non-union workers because they appropriated it. So there's no government, like they're not using the funds from. Are they using government funds to appropriate it, or can anybody appropriate it?
Well, it's probably private developers because usually
Yeah.
data centers
That's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was.
and
thinking.
solar
So-
farms are private companies.
so
But
they
again,
so they
it
can
ends
do
up
with
being
non-union labor.
Yeah.
And,
Right. And so let me correct myself. The notice that came across was that Indiana did pass a bill, but it wasn't that one. The bill they passed is even worse, that says that now colleges and schools and other municipalities have to cooperate with ICE when they come in to grab people.
what does that mean?
That means that they got to open the doors for them. They can't stand for. They'll be arrested for impeding ICE
Yep.
by local
right. So
police.
more college shootings is what you're saying.
That sounds like
Yeah.
it sounds like a violation of the Fourth Amendment, but okay.
Well, I mean, let's be faced. ICE, when ICE shows up, you have no constitutional rights. But I'll tell you one thing. What I've been seeing a lot here, they're supposed to be in Atlanta. No one's saying a word because they're getting pushed out of Atlanta. They don't want to mess in there. They went to Compton the other day.
How'd that work
That
out
didn't
for
go
them?
well.
I
No, that
saw
didn't go
that.
well.
I'm like,
They got-
were they in Cabrini Green? Because that's not going to happen.
No, and then Chicago. They talked to some of the Chicago gangs and said, "You show back up here, we're ready." So
They're ready for war.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that Minnesota kind of set the standard, Minneapolis, a peaceful protest, but you're gonna they the ultimate example of what these people are is what that guy did in Texas to the high school students. Okay, here's this 45-year-old guy jumping out of his truck attacking one girl. But then when he got his ass beat by everyone, and tell me have anyone seen the movie Weapons? That looked like the
Yeah.
end of the Weapons. All those kids piling on him. I mean, they're cowards, and they're starting to find out now. That's why they pick on women, single people. They can't handle a group. They showed in Downey, they tried to pick up a landscaper. Everyone came out of the neighborhood, and they ran for their lives. They ran for their lives.
Yeah, that guy got the day he asked for. I tell you that.
Exactly.
You guys brought up Minneapolis, and I think I should mention this. I, of course, live in a suburb of Minneapolis, born and raised in South Minneapolis, right in the middle where all this shit is going. I think people may be under the wrong impression about what's going on in Minneapolis now. We know Donald Trump sent away Greg Bavino, brought in Tom Horman, the Timu Fred Flintstone motherfucker, brought him in, and he talked a little calmer. Today, he announced that he was drawing down on about 700 troops that are in Minneapolis. And I think the Republicans are trying to give the sense that they're calming things down in Minnesota. Now, keep in mind, they sent 3,000 people into the city, and taking 700 out is nice, but there's still 2,300 people, ICE agents and border agents in this town. They brought in Tom Homan to give the impression that it's going to be a kinder and gentler ICE insurgents into Minneapolis. But I'm here to tell you that's not the case. They have changed nothing about what they're doing. There's still horrific things going on. So while the craziness that was being reported earlier isn't so much now, don't think it's any better in Minneapolis. It's not. They're doing the same shit they've been doing all along. Even Tom Homan said that we're not changing anything about what we're doing. We're just taking 700 people out of Minneapolis. Now, I have a theory about this, and I'm curious as to what you think. They're drawing down on 700 people. But the way things are going with ICE agents, we're hearing about them on Reddit and some other places complaining about not getting paid, not getting their bonuses, not getting health insurance. I wonder if there isn't people leaving ICE right now, and this is their way to explain why they're losing people.
Oh, absolutely. They never tell the truth about anything, right? They always
No.
find what they call a spin, right? Oh, we can spin
Right.
that into a positive. We can just say we're drawing them down. I saw a video today where ICE was sitting in Minneapolis by a school bus, and they had to end up getting chased out of there. You know what I mean? By the residents. So no, they haven't changed anything. It's just smoke and mirrors.
It could be that also some of them are growing a conscience because they know what's going on is wrong.
No,
I
they came
tell you
there
what,
without a conscience.
the ICE agents I've seen are typical racist, white supremacist, dumb motherfuckers. I would be willing to bet they're all kind of in that same realm. They like the cruelty of it. They like the power that they have because in their real lives, they're not smart enough. They don't have enough wherewithal to have any power. So this gives them the opportunity to think that some of them are getting a conscience. If that's the case, there's maybe one or two of them. I don't think most of them give a fuck. They'd keep doing this as long as they could.
I don't think it's a conscience. I think that they are realizing that we will, if you do something egregious, we're going to find out who you are, like those border agents. I think if there's any sort of back down, it's that because of that.
Yeah, and
It could be.
I also think that
Those border agents, like one of them was employed in 2018 and one of them I think was 2015 or 14. Like they were like highly trained. They weren't the ICE guys who were hired last week. Like those guys have been around and been working in the field for a while. That which makes it like 1,000 times worse. Which makes it even
Absolutely.
more concerning because you're concerned about the guys who like were hired by ICE last week and they have like, 20 days worth of training and no qualifications. But these guys were hired years and years and years ago, and they're supposed to have training, and they still like just
They
it's just
they
it's
cut
just
them
unbelievable
loose.
to me.
They cut them loose,
Yeah,
Rebecca. They gave them carte blanche
I,
to do what they
I
want. So I think the
well, they're
training doesn't
trust me,
matter.
they're gonna lose.
Oh, I know.
I,
But
te-
here's the
I tell you
sad
what,
thing that I'm sorry, just real quick, Mike. Here's a sad thing I saw. There was a poll with Republicans on immigration or what ICE is doing. 70% think it's fine. The violence, the arresting the children, and all that, which just tells
yeah,
me, when this is done, if you support a MAGA, we find out you're persona non grata because you gave up your
I agree.
humanity for that.
I agree. Since we're talking about Minneapolis, I want to bring somebody up who's been on the show and on the lives many times before. He lives here in Minnesota, out in the rural areas, a blue dot in a red area. Howard Paulson. He's a man of a certain age, maybe a little younger than I, but he's chosen to become an activist, and he's showing up at the protests. His wife's showing up, his kids are showing up. So Howard, welcome to the live, and maybe you can give us a perspective of what's going on in Minneapolis from the experience in the protest you've been involved in.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for bringing me up. That Tom Holman, I think he's more dangerous than the guy that they took out of there because they filmed him taking a $50,000 bribe, and he'll look you right in the eye and tell you that case got dropped.
Right.
And the only reason it got dropped is because of Trump. So yeah, I think it's they've gotten quieter about what they're doing. I think we're going to lose another life before, at least one more before stuff starts changing. I think he's more dangerous than what we've had before. But the other thing that I seen happening today, Trump just got back from Europe here a few days ago, and now Louisiana, I can't say these names, Louisiana started an investigation into human trafficking.
Right.
France raided Elon Musk's office there, and Poland started a investigation into the Epstein Russia connection. So I think they're tired of, the whole European nation over there is tired of Trump too, and it's all going to lead back to him. We were on a protest, what was it, last Saturday? That was my wife and I, and that was the first one she went to. But I was going up and down this line with my megaphone doing the chants, and then I every once in a while I'd throw in there that Epstein's in the Trump files. And this old lady, she had to be in her upper 70s, lower 80s. And she turned around and said, sir. And I said, yes, ma'am. How can I help you? She says, don't you think you have that backwards? And I says, no, I think everybody else has it backwards. I think Trump's the ringleader and Epstein worked for Trump. But, if we ain't got the balls to get him out of office, Europe's going to do it for us.
Yeah, don't you think that's an interesting thing? And I was thinking the same thing. We've got the DOJ here not releasing the files. And I've always said there are other people around the world that have these files. It wasn't just the United States involved in this. And when we see France and Lithuania and some of these other places, this is going to be interesting because there's going to come some evidence out of these investigations. And no doubt Donald Trump's name's going to be tied to it somehow, but he can't stop it. He can't stop it because he doesn't have control in these foreign countries. This may be what brings down Donald Trump when we get the exposure from whatever investigations they're going on. And I'm sure Donald Trump is shitting his pants right now. I mean, even more so than usual because he can't control it. And that's one thing narcissists hate, when they can't control it, when they can't intimidate. People around the world are getting tired of him and they're ready to fucking fight back. It's about time.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that. I wish it'd come internally through us because that's ultimately where it should have came from. But at this point in my life and all this outrageous shit and the egregious things that he's done, I'm looking forward to getting him out of office any way possible. And if it's got to come from outside governments spilling the fucking beans, I'm just fine with that.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. What do you guys think?
um,
What do you guys
as
think about
far
that premise?
yeah, and as far as protesting in Minneapolis, it's been a minute since I've been down there, and I'm going to get back down there. But one thing I notice is when they come out of the what building is that? The Whipple building.
Whipple.
They
Yeah.
can either, and maybe I said this before, they can either go to the left or go to the right. And if they go to the right, then there's a crosswalk there, and us protesters always flooded that crosswalk so that would slow them down. Well, this one vehicle come out of there, and it was a younger guy in there. Of course, he's masked up, but I could see right in his eyes and the fear that he had in his eyes, and he was looking at all his protesters, and then he turned to the right. And it was a good thing he looked forward when he did, because we'd flooded that crosswalk, and he goddamn near hit a couple people. And I bet he shit himself right there. Well, you take that scenario of all that fear and then strap a weapon onto that kid. No wonder people are getting shot in fucking Minneapolis. But I think it's going to take another shooting to get it to come to an end. And I hope, hopefully, it's only one. And it may be that they unload on a crowd. That maybe they'll put several of us protesters down. But I don't think it's just going to go away. There's going to have to be another egregious act. I'm sad to say that, but.
I'm curious as to what the attitudes and what kind of things are you hearing from the protesters? Where their heads at right now. Obviously, they've been fighting very hard, but are they still just as determined to do what they're doing?
Oh,
Well,
I
on
think
top of
they were even more determined. And last Saturday, when we protested in Wilmer, I protested maybe there 10 days before that, 2 weeks. And then ICE had been there. Well, the difference that I seen in last Saturday, we had about the same number of people, but I'd say 98% of them were white people, where the time before it was maybe 25 to 30% white people and the rest minorities. It's gotten to the
Okay.
point where the minorities, I think, are getting scared and scared to come out, at least in a smaller protest like that, but we're filling the holes. The older white generation is getting out there. And I think the more shit that we see going on, the more people we're going to see actually taking up and going out there. I found out when I went to the DFL caucus in my county last night, I found out there was 3 women there from a small town north of me. When I seen them, and I guess I didn't know who they were, but I'm not the only one getting up and driving a couple hours to go protest, and I'm really glad to see that.
Hey, Howard, I have a question for you about. So after Alex Peretti, do you see less, I guess, confrontation?
No, they're back using that tear gas. I think we're going
No,
to see more, and
I
I
mean
think
on the
we're
part of
it
the
has what?
protesters. I mean on the
Huh?
part of the protesters, like because Alex Peretti was very, he was kind of like in their face more than others. Like
I
some people like were just videoing backing off where he was trying to protect that woman. He was trying to pick her up. He previously there's a video of him kicking in a tail light. Like previously, like are people like backing off as far as their confrontation on ice, just in case?
No, I don't see that at all. In fact, I think they're even getting to be, more confrontational because they're still there. After all this, they're still there. And I think we're going to see that increase. And I think we're going to see the numbers increase. And the other reason we're going to see some numbers increase is because this damn cold spell is starting to break now. But look at the numbers we had, even though it was 30 and 40 below a zero.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Pretty amazing that we saw people stand up and push back in really adverse weather conditions. If you've ever stood in 10 or 20 below weather for any period of time, you know that's pretty fucked up. It's
It's
not,
am-
it's
it's
not
amazing.
fun.
It's amazing George Soros has that much money to pay all these protesters to do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I saw somebody on a live with one of the bigger creators, and this person came on and he said he believes the protesters are being paid $3,200 and $4,500 a month. So, Howard, how much have you made so far in your protests?
Well, I'd hate to even put together what it's cost me to do this because I'm not a wealthy man, but I got grandkids, and I love my grandchildren, and I'll keep doing this till the end, no matter what. If I could be making that kind of money, shit, I wish it would go on forever. But yeah, no, I have yet to get paid for protesting.
Well, and I think that's what people have to understand. People ask me, why do you do this? And people would ask Howard why he does what he does. And it's really in hopes to protect our kids and our grandkids. People like Howard and I, the age we are, we could probably sit back and nothing will really affect us because our lives are pretty well set toward the end of our lives. But when I look at my grandchildren, I think, God, I cannot stand by and watch this country go to shit and leave that for them and then end up dying and not being able to protect them. I feel compelled to have to do something now. And I guess that's pretty much the same for you, Howard.
Yes, oh yes, and I've always been kind of for the underdog anyway. And I've done, we had an orphanage that we sponsored for years in Mexico, and I've been to Haiti, and I've been to different places, and it just don't make any sense to me that these people are all our enemies now. When you look around and the only maybe ally we got is Russia and North Korea, and there's something fucked up about our government.
Yeah, there definitely is. There's definitely something fucked up. I'm going to see if there's somebody else out there that wants to show up.
Can you
Um,
drop me down?
yeah, I can drop you down. Thanks for
Cool.
coming on, Howard.
Yeah,
We'll,
thanks,
we'll
Mike.
talk to you
Thank
again
you, Howard. Appreciate you.
See you,
soon, I'm
everybody.
sure.
Bye.
See you later. That's Howard. He's a little younger
I
than
don't
I
know.
am, but he's out there in the cold and doing the protest, and I have a lot of admiration for him.
I don't know what ICE's plan is because they're in Los Angeles, and for someone who lived in LA most of his life, man, I mean, I saw them on Friday. They blocked in ICE with trash cans, dumpsters. They fought them literally on the street. And I said to
Yeah.
myself, that's LA light. They have not set that city off. And that's not a good thing. And they set LA off. It's like they
Yeah,
want to.
no. Yeah, I think. Well, they are trying to start some stuff to show how tough they are. I think they'll be surprised when things get set off, especially if you go into Compton or the wrong part of Chicago and you got the gang members out there saying, "We love war. Let's go to it." I've got somebody else up here. His name is Michael. Since he has the same name as I do, I'm hoping he's safe, but I don't know much about Michael. How you doing? What's on your mind?
Yeah, and we've talked before.
Okay.
Yeah, I served in the Army for 30 years, so yeah, I live here in Atlanta. I think we're next here. If you go to WXIA, which is the NBC affiliate here in Atlanta,
Hmm.
there's a story there about an ICE facility they're building in Social Circle, which is about 45 miles east of Atlanta. It is ginormous. I mean, I can look at that and tell you that it's about 10 acres.
Wow.
Yeah, no idea what they're going to, build there. But when you look at what's happened in Fulton County, they're setting the stage to try to steal this election. But
I know what they're going to build there, Michael. They're going to build a private detention center that's run by a private company who's buddies with Donald Trump. That's what they're building there.
No
uh,
doubt.
um, but if you Google the story, I'm a little surprised. But good for the people of Social Circle who are overwhelmingly against this being built there. So
Mhm. Yeah, they're. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Michael. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, because I live in Covington, outside of Atlanta.
Yeah,
And
right there.
so, yeah, so there have been rumors of them being Decatur, DeKalb. They've been working their ways around Atlanta. There have been rumors that they've been in Atlanta, but been pushed out. Because you know Atlanta like I do. There's certain parts of Atlanta you don't know. Ain't gonna fly. So, and the other thing they're gonna find out, as you know, Georgia's open carry. And they don't want
Yeah.
that.
It's open carry, but we have a large Hispanic population that's here, and several weeks ago at Plaza La Fiesta, which is it used to be an outlet mall that's here in Atlanta, and it's primarily owned and run by the Hispanic community, which I just happen to be a part of, and they came out in force and protested. A couple of months after Trump came in office. But hey, I just want to share this with you, and I'll drop down. But 45 years ago, I think it was 45 years ago, 46 years ago, I sat with my late dad when the United States hockey team beat the Russians. And we were so proud to be Americans. Like that brought us all together, as
Yeah.
Americans, and we felt like really good about it. And at the same time, the hostages were being released, from Iran after 400 days. And the Olympics start this Friday, and how pitiful we look, and how hard it is to gonna be able to watch that on TV for the first time in my life, not being proud of who we are anymore.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, people always say this is the best country in the world. It's not, unfortunately, and Donald Trump is largely the reason for it. Um, I remember those times in 1980. I had a couple of friends on the 80 Olympic team, and it was a great way to pull people together. You would hope that something happens in the Olympics that helps pull Americans together, but everybody's so concerned about their own livelihoods and just democracy in general. It's going to be hard for people to focus on the Olympics when their very lives and their very livelihoods are on the line. You're near Atlanta. Will's near Atlanta. It's mostly a blue area. Is there a rumbling or anything about what's going on with ICE in and around that area? I mean, are people outraged? Are people ready to stand up should ICE come into Atlanta?
So I talked to my son who lives in Midtown, and we don't get Minnesota cold here, but like 20 degrees this Sunday, and there were
Tell me about it.
there were about 300 to 400 people that showed up for a ice out protest that was going on downtown, and so not as large as the No Kings protest that are here, but we're all. I mean, I'm outraged by it. I don't talk around it in the workplace, but many of my friends, even people that I know that originally supported this, are saying, "Hey, this is not exactly, what we supported." If you get a chance, there's a great Saturday Night Live skit from this past weekend, about the struggle that I think is taking place with a lot of families, where people that did vote for Trump are finally coming to the realization that this isn't what they voted for. But it was a brilliant skit on Saturday Night Live that was absolutely funny as fuck. But really hit home too. Of I'm sure this is going on in many families around the country.
Yep, they absolutely.
I'm
nailed
guessing
it.
virtually every family.
I mean, they want to deport a 5-year-old again. They filed the paperwork for Liam Ramos. They want to get him back deported.
Well, Mike,
But
can I
I
tell you why
don't-
America's not great again? We
Go
got
ahead.
we got the
Go ahead.
G20 summit coming up, and Trump has a
Oh,
fucking
God.
10 foot, 20-foot statue erected of himself to take there. That's why. Like, what the fuck, man? I mean, This guy is so full of himself. It's insanity at its finest.
And it's embarrassing. He doesn't even realize it's embarrassing, and the people who support him don't want to tell him it's embarrassing. I got to believe that the people around him know it's embarrassing. They just don't have the courage to say, Donnie, fucking chill out, motherfucker.
I'll just tell you this, and then I'll drop down. We have got to get out and vote in the midterms. You got to vote like your life depends on this, because this may be, if we don't get this ship righted in the midterms, this may be the last election that we have in this country.
I don't
As a
know if
whole
it'll be the
country,
last
'cause it'll
election.
break.
Yeah, I don't know about. I agree with you. In 2026, we've got to start to right this ship. We can't really right this ship until 2028. I wouldn't suggest that we won't have elections, but we're going to have a lot of people in this country that are fighting currently. And if we can't get by on the 2026 elections, there's going to be a lot of broken spirits. We had a lot of broken spirits after the presidential election. Everybody thought Kamala was going to win. And when she didn't, everybody just kind of went dark for a couple of months because they were so upset about it. That's why I think it's important in 2026 with the midterms, we have this blue tidal wave to keep people buoyed and keep fighting, because if they can't do that, people are going to start getting fatalistic about the future of this country.
Yeah. Well, okay. Hey, man, have a great night. I love watching your show.
Hey, Michael, take care.
Yeah, I felt
Thank
like I
you,
had to come
Michael.
here and
Yeah, he needs to be impeached and taken out by the end of March.
Well,
Yeah,
here's one thing I would say that we're talking about the tsunami, blue tsunami. In nature, a tsunami, you know it's coming when the water recedes. All the
Right.
special elections are the warnings. All right, that's why if you can see the Republicans panicking, is that they did all this redistricting, but it's probably might not going to work, because people even in those red areas are pissed.
Well, it's
Because-
not just the special elections;
Go ahead.
it's local elections too.
Local elections, yes, ma'am.
Democrats are winning by literally landslide numbers that you never would have imagined. In local elections and landslide elections, like that one, I think it was a representative, Mike, the woman that won in Minnesota by like literally 96% or 95%.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. But the Texas one is the most interesting, because
Right.
in Texas, Donald Trump in 2024, just over a year ago, he won that district by 17 points. So now we had the special election for the representative in the House, Democrat versus Republican. The Democrat won by 14 points. So that's a 31-point swing from fucking last November, the November before this last one. So that is a red flag to Republicans. You know they're worried about this shit. You go into a bright red state like Texas, you take a district that's been Republican since the early 90s, a district that Donald Trump won easily by 17 points, and they lose by 14 points. You know they're freaking out about that
There
shit.
was another one this week in New York. And New York obviously is blue, but like the guy won by 92%. Like the
Yes.
percentages, even in the blue, like they're so high that it's very indicative of what's going to happen.
And that's why I get upset at the Democratic leadership, because they keep thinking that it's close. They keep thinking that 2024, if they don't compromise with the Republicans or be bipartisan or don't run on a progressive, they run on a progressive platform, they're going to get crushed.
Well-
No, the
well,
people who
just-
are winning are running on progressive platforms.
Well, just say what it is. They're weak. They're weak.
They're weak. I understand that, and they got money coming from corporate. But the hardest thing to watch was to listen to Chuck Schumer really say nothing about ICE after what happened to Alex Peretti, what happened to Renee Good, and then the video of him screaming at an audience about we're going to protect Israel at all costs. I'm watching it and I'm going, what about us?
He came out
Motherfucker,
today.
you
What
sold
about
us out on the ACA subsidies.
No, he
And
came
you're
out
fucking
today. They
screaming
had
about Israel?
Well, hold on. He came out today. We got to put that out there because it's the truth. He
Wait,
came. He came out today. He had a live press conference with Hakeem Jeffries and a host of others, talking about the legislature that they're trying to draft up within the next 24 hours to rein ICE in.
Yeah.
But do you trust them? I don't.
Well,
I mean, I
No.
heard.
I mean,
I mean, what breaks my heart, what really makes it hard for me is like they sold us out. There are people right now without medical care. People are going to die. I mean, my family right now, I have right now $5,000 in medical bills, and I have fucking auto health insurance. How are people surviving without it? And he cut a deal with the Republicans because the airlines needed to fly through the fucking holidays for an ACA
Yeah.
vote. They didn't get it. That legislation is dead.
well,
And
okay,
people are without insurance, and I'm pissed.
okay. Listen, you asked me if I trust him. I halfway trust him, and here's why. Because he actually this time put a timestamp on it. I've never heard him put a timestamp as definite as he did today. So I have to give him that option. And plus, with all the other people that stood behind him today and and what they were talking about, I've got to only hope. And I know hope is not a strategy, but I've got to hope that something comes out of this by Friday.
Yeah. Well, hopefully. I mean, it's almost going to have
Yeah,
to.
I hope. I mean, I don't want. I mean, I don't want to sound like that. This is. They had so many opportunities, and I know they're not in power. I'm not an idiot. I know Trump would have gotten rid of it or vetoed it. It would have been another fight. But to sit there and talk like we don't know or ignore what's going on in the streets of America, to consider ICE as a law enforcement agency, which is not, it is not law enforcement. And the question is not left or right anymore, guys. They are violating the Constitution every time they show up. They know the Constitution applies to them. And that's why the Justice Department lawyers are quitting, because ICE won't even follow due process. They're following habeas corpus, and they can't get an order for ICE. And what's ICE doing? Deporting people. This is
Yeah.
our problem.
I'm going to pull somebody else up here. Stephanie. I think she's been on before. Stephanie, how you doing? What's on your mind tonight?
Um, just everything in general, like ICE, okay?
First of
Like
all,
they came out and said if they're forced to unmask, they could lose 80% of their people.
that's what I
And
heard
I'm
too. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm thinking, and the downside of that is what exactly? Like, I mean, and as far as like, I know you were discussing healthcare earlier.
Yeah.
And they keep saying, "Oh, you can't afford universal health care." Well, you could set it up and like charge everybody in the country $10 a month. That would work out to what? $3 billion a month
Yeah.
for health care?
Oh, the thing about it is they keep saying they can't afford universal health care, which is absolutely ridiculous. Every other industrialized nation has universal health care, and we're richer than all of them. The problem isn't really that we can't afford it. The problem is that it's going to pinch the insurance companies who are making all kinds of money, making poor choices about health care. And all these members of Congress have money stuffed in their pockets by the insurance lobby and by the pharmaceutical lobby and by the medical lobby. This isn't about what we can or can't afford. It's about members of Congress, Democrats and Republicans alike, don't want their sugar daddies to stop paying them. That's really what it's about.
Yeah, well, I mean, up here in Canada, we have universal health care. We also have private insurance through your jobs. I mean, basic health care, like I'm in Ontario, so I'm under OHIP. Okay, it covers certain things. Okay, the private insurance, they cover other things like glasses, hearing aids,
It's kind of like Medicare. It's kind of like Medicare.
Yeah. and they both work, and insurance companies in Canada are still making billions.
Let me ask you something. How much do you pay a month for healthcare in Canada?
I don't pay anything. I'm retired and disabled, so
So you don't pay anything at all?
no. All my meds are covered. All my hospital, everything is covered. I don't
Is-
pay a cent.
What about if you were not retired and disabled? Do they pay anything?
All basic medical, like if I had to go to the hospital, have an operation, doctor's visits, all of that is covered.
Okay.
Because I'm also have type 2 diabetes and it's considered a chronic illness. My vision tests were all covered. The glasses weren't. I still had to pay for the glasses, but the optometrist visit was covered. And but still, yeah. If I was working and didn't have health care through a job, any medical issue would still be covered. Most lab tests would be covered.
Let me ask you this question.
He's making me cry.
The one argument that everybody makes from this side of the border that are Republicans, they say, yeah, sure, Canada's got health insurance, but you got to wait forever to get to be seen and to be serviced with health care. Have you found that to be true?
Well, it depends on the condition. Like a year ago in December, I had to go in to have a toe removed because I had broken a toe, and it wound up dying because at the time I was homeless, and my dog pulled me off my feet, so I broke a toe. But I couldn't get it treated for 3 months because I was living in a tent with my dog and had nowhere to leave him while I went to the hospital. So I finally made arrangements to board him, went and got treated for my toe. That would have been the end of October, and surgery on my toe was scheduled for the end of November.
That's not crazy. I mean, we'd have to wait that long for surgery, but if you have to go in for a checkup or something like that, or just a regular update, do you wait extensive amounts of time?
No, I call my doctor, like, I'm transgendered, but I have, my family doctor is actually an OBGYN. And I usually call her up. If I need an appointment, I can get one within 2 weeks tops.
Okay.
You know, anything emergency comes up, we have walk-in clinics, we have urgent care clinics. So, I mean, you go to urgent care, if you're not there at 8 o'clock in the morning, you could be sitting there for 6-7 hours, but
you're not going broke.
no.
Yeah, that's not any different from here at all. Well, Stephanie, thank you for joining us. Feel free to join us anytime you see us doing it live. It's good to hear from the other side of the border.
Okay, and I sure hope Republicans get off their ass and finally say, okay, he's got to go. He's just simply got to go.
It's got to happen eventually. I'm just amazed that it's taken this long, honestly. But it's going to happen eventually because Donald Trump just gets worse and worse every day.
Yeah.
Stephanie, thank you for joining us. And again, feel free to come back anytime.
Okay.
All right, that was Stephanie in Canada. We always hear the people that complain, well, you can go to Canada, but you got to wait forever. And everything I've ever heard from people in Canada when it comes to healthcare, not much different than we're dealing with here. If I needed surgery and it wasn't an emergency, I'd probably have to wait a month to get it here, even though I'm on Medicare. So I think it's a bullshit.
Not for nothing. But
Narrative.
I don't know if the same is true in everywhere, but like we have a big shortage of dermatologists here in Erie, Pennsylvania, and I don't know if that's true everywhere, but for anybody to get a dermatology appointment here, it's literally 8 months to 12 months if you're a new patient, if they will
Wow.
take you as a new patient, and it's 6 months
Wow.
if you are already a patient. And now, I've had skin cancer, so like I'm at risk, and I still have to wait that.
That kind of discounts every argument they fucking make about universal health care. I'm pulling somebody else up here. This is Will G. Will, how you doing? What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, how are you? I watch your podcast.
Yeah.
I enjoy watching your podcast. I
Well,
just
thank you.
wanted to find out. I'm in California. I live in Compton, and I'm 56 years old. I'm disabled, and we've already had these agents go into our complex, um, and it was pretty scary. But
I
they
imagine.
left. They did leave, and they wound up shooting at someone else's car, or pew pew. I'm sorry, um, down there by the street, by the train station. It was on the news. Anyway,
Well, we keep hearing noises about them going into Compton and how it didn't go well for them, given you know. What was your perspective of it? You said they went into your area, but did you see what was going on in Compton while they were in there? Did it go as badly for ICE agents as we're hearing?
at the time they was chasing a suspect, allegedly a person that was in human trafficking. And we got outside, and yeah, we didn't like them one bit. Where I'm at, there's 4 different gangs in that area, and believe it or not, they came out and they took off in a hurry. The sheriff was the sheriffs had to do security for them to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, I saw some videos that were pretty interesting. It didn't look like the people who had surrounded a ICE truck were all that afraid of them. Didn't
No,
seem like they were concerned.
yeah. The one thing I wanted to talk to you about, you mentioned the Second Amendment on a podcast on your live, or was it live? I
Yeah,
don't remember, but you did mention that if they were to come into your, you have the castle law and the stand your
the
ground
Castle
law,
Doctrine. Yeah.
castle doctrine. I don't know if the state of California has that, but there's a lot of us that are Second Amendment holders, and some of us may not be, I don't know, able to carry. But
Well, yeah.
and then
There
they were
was
telling us that if something were to happen to those agents, we go to prison.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're dealing with a different situation right now. We have all kinds of laws, but we have a DOJ that does whatever Donald Trump says, and that is an issue. The Castle Doctrine thing is an interesting thing. We do have it here. If I'm sitting here and somebody breaks into my house and I utilize the Castle Doctrine and protect myself, that's well and good, but they probably have 10 people with them. I don't think going to prison is the issue. I think whoever uses the Castle Doctrine may end up
Just
unalive themselves.
just FYI, California does have the Castle Doctrine.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Self-defense is allowed. What you can't do is open carry without a permit, and you have to go through the process. It's not like here in Georgia now, because I lived in California, which is different here in Georgia. Georgia, literally, you can wear stuff at your hip. Can't do that in
Yeah.
California.
There's a difference between Castle Doctrine and Stand Your Ground. Those are two different things.
One thing I thought we had what they called the California Blue Law, is that you can carry a pew pew on your hip, but you can't have it loaded with ammunition inside. I think Ronald Reagan was the one that came up with that, if I'm correct, or someone correct me on that.
Yeah, I'm not altogether sure, but I'm curious if any of you people heard this. There was a rep that came out to the press, a representative, I believe it was, maybe it was a senator, brought up this very topic and said he was talking about the stand your ground law, and he says it's conceivable with a stand your ground law in whatever state you're in that you could that that there could be pew pew used against ICE, and I don't know what the end result would be, but I'm surprised we haven't seen more of that yet, especially now that they're going into red states. They seem
Well,
more apt to
it,
go
it's
to the weapons quicker.
it's unnavigated waters, but I don't think that it's far off from happening.
Well, he's right about that. And I think I sent TJ this article about the Arizona Attorney General that says, hey, if you've got people coming up to you in masks and they're unmarked, says, hey, we've got a stand your ground law, and I'll fight that in court.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. You're right. It was Arizona who the Attorney General that said that. And if the Attorney General says that, um,
Well,
that's kind of a strong endorsement.
let me ask a generalized question here. If you encounter a law enforcement officer, what do they have on their vest? Their
Holy.
name, their
Yep.
name, their last
A
name,
badge,
a badge, and what? Their ID number,
Yep.
right?
right?
And a
And
body cam if it's the correct officer.
well, not every jurisdiction has body cams, but at the very least, they have a name and a badge number, and you can see their face. So realistically, if they have none of those things, how do we actually know they're not impersonators or, a criminal?
We
Nobody
don't.
knows that.
Look at the guys in
Especially
Ohio.
since,
Yeah,
yeah, there are some impersonators out there.
Yeah.
People just want to have fun, and they go to Amazon and buy ice vests, and they go out and do whatever the fuck they want.
that's why I'm
More,
saying,
more,
like,
We don't
more
know.
than
that
some.
that
And
that is
nobody
that is
says
an
anything.
that is a extreme argument for self-defense.
I mean, they roll up on you with unmarked cars.
Right, exactly. Well, they hit it right on the head.
Yeah,
They came up to me once when I was in downtown. They took my picture. They thought I was Mexican, and I told them I was American, and they just took my picture and went away with the camera phone.
Yeah,
And I was on
they're using facial
downtown.
recognition software on you.
Yeah, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah. It's which in itself has got to be subjecting people to that facial recognition stuff has got to be an invasion of privacy to some extent. But of course, in this world, in this country today, you can do pretty much whatever you want. And that's my point, is that rule of law isn't a thing anymore. So if rule of law is not a thing anymore, why do we even worry about rule of law for our side? It's obviously not important.
Right. Well, if you've flown in a plane in the past 5 years, you're in there. Just so you know.
True, true. Yeah, I'm not worried about being facially recognized because I'm here every fucking day doing this. You don't have to do facial recognition on me. You just have to go to TikTok, YouTube, Substack, or any place else. Say, oh yeah, that's that motherfucker right there.
Nobody wants to look at that mug.
No, exactly. That's why I spent 40 years in radio. Will, thank you. Will G, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much for having me. Have a great day.
Nope. You too.
Hey, Mike, can I say this to you real quick before you pull somebody up?
Yeah.
Right before we came on, I saw where allegedly North Korea is on their shit again about their children, right? I guess they're watching K-pop, and they don't like that
Yeah.
because it's outside of their area. So they're talking
Right.
about public executions and making the kids watch the other kids get executed because they watched fucking pop.
Jesus Christ.
That sounds like an ICE policy, to be honest with
But
you.
you see, but you listen to like what a lot of Republicans say about what kids read, what we can't read, not read. It's the same thing because authoritarians don't want anything that makes you think other than what they want you to think. And that's not surprising.
Not for nothing. I don't know if you guys know who K-pop Demon Hunter is, but literally
I know the movie.
Big fan.
95% of the fucking like 12 to 15-year-old kids in this country and their parents are watching K-pop Demon Hunter.
Wow.
For them to like,
I mean, I could karaoke Golden. I'm a fan, so I'll be honest.
of course you are.
Wow.
But if you see the movie, the last song, this is what it sounds like. My God, that song just touches your heart about accepting who you are. So but what that means is that
I don't
those
disagree.
songs make people nervous, make people
Yeah.
authoritarians really nervous.
Yeah, they do. I brought up Eric, the analytical Iowan. Get some insight from him. Hey, Eric, how you doing? How's it going in Iowa tonight?
Doing pretty good. Now, Trucker jumped in my live last night, told me you were going live tonight. Well, I expected you to go live about 9:30 like you normally do, so I was out to eat ahead of time. That's why I couldn't jump in.
Well, I was going to go at 9:30, but TJ whined and cried about it. I'm in the Eastern
Don't fucking blame
time
it on me.
zone.
I
asked
said-
you what
Blame
time,
it on me.
and you said 9:30.
I said I was available all night. Don't bullshit anybody.
It's my fault.
Yeah.
It's my bedtime.
Hey, Mike, I got receipts. Don't worry about it.
Thank
you don't,
Thank
bitch.
you.
You don't have receipts, bitch.
So, Eric, what was your thought about this whole thing with the Washington Post and Bezos firing 300 people and basically turning Washington Post into something that doesn't resemble
Into X.
something we counted on?
Turning it into X.
I mean, I'm not surprised if we counted on the Washington Post lately at all anyway. I mean, they
No.
were already a right-leaning
Yeah, who
rag
gives a fuck about
paper
it?
anyway. It's only going to be worse.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. I never fucking read
Yeah,
their
that-
bullshit anyway.
I'm surprised it took so long to do it. I thought he would do it like last year, butchering
Yeah.
that paper.
Yeah, and this should just go to what we've been talking about from the beginning. This isn't a battle between Republicans and Democrats. This is really a battle between the wealthy and the rest of us. The whole reason any of this is going on, why we don't have universal health care, why the First Amendment is being destroyed, why the Fourth Amendment is being destroyed, it's all about money, because that's what the Republicans are all about. That's what Donald Trump is all about. And we need to recognize where the fight is. And the fight is with the wealthy people in this country. They feel like they can do virtually anything they want. Another proof of that is what we're seeing in the Epstein files. These are all wealthy people that are being exposed in the Epstein files. Not once have any of them been investigated in spite of the fact that there's been an immense number of complaints.
Yeah, none of them have been investigated, in part because they're rich and wealthy, and because public outcry wasn't loud enough. They went after Epstein, then they went after Maxwell, and people were busy worrying about everything else because the economy wasn't great. Yeah, things were better under Biden, but it wasn't perfect. And they were worried about other things, and they were able to let it slip through the cracks. In part, also because we had a weak-ass Attorney General in Merrick Garland.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to bring somebody else up here as we're going along. We're getting later stages. British John is in the green room at this point, doing God knows what. Let's check with Anya, see if she shows up. Anya, how you doing? What's on your mind? Hello, Anya.
Uh-oh.
She was on one time before, but apparently she's not ready at this point. That's fine. Don't make me go to fucking British John too quick here. Let's try this one. We'll see if this person comes up, and they don't. This is the weird thing about TikTok. A lot of weird things been happening since the changeover, but I hit people to come on the show and they don't come on. I don't know what exactly is going on. Let's try Doug Robb. Now he's not coming up. Jesus Christ.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mike, how is the local police dealing with things in Minnesota? TJ and I have been talking recently, and like we are like our thought is, well, and I'm sorry, TJ, I don't mean to speak for you, but our thought is that if the local police start acting like police even against ICE, because whether it's because it's the right thing to do or because they're like, fuck you, I trained for this long and you're like, you didn't, and you just got your fucking job and you make more money than me. Like how is the local police interacting with ICE? Like, I feel like local police should just be, sorry, if you break the law, ICE, you're in jail. Like,
well, I think people in Minneapolis and Minnesota would love to see the police department go up against ICE when they're committing crimes. They'd like to see the National Guard go up against ICE when they're committing crimes, but that's not what they're doing. That's not what they're charged for, and I think it frustrates people. They're there to keep the crowd quiet and separated, and allow ICE to do whatever the fuck they want. I mean, when Renee Good was shot right in front of several Minneapolis police officers, what did they do? They watched a murder, and they let the guy get in a car and drive away. I don't know that the Minneapolis police are doing that much other than trying to keep the crowd down to some manageable level. And that's just the opposite of what protesters hoped they would do. So I think mostly protesters are disappointed in the Minneapolis Police Department. And in some cases, they're helping the ICE agents, mainly because there's a lot of people on the Minneapolis Police Department that are basically glorified ICE agents in terms of their mentality.
I feel like this is the opportunity for local police to like say, hey, you know what? We are police officers and we know how to do our job, and we're going to get our good name back because we've been slandered in the media. Like, I feel like if they just said, hey, ICE, if you break the law, we're going to arrest you, and they did that, that it would make a huge difference.
Well, Rebecca, that suggests common sense and logic, and I'm a big proponent of common sense and logic. But since 2024's November election, I found out very quickly that common sense and logic doesn't always matter in this current parallel universe. But yeah, and you got to understand the Minneapolis Police Department doesn't have the greatest reputation. You remember George Floyd. I remember the 70s when all kids called the Minneapolis Police Department the Goon Squad for good reason. I'm not saying all Minneapolis police officers are bad, but the reputation of the Minneapolis Police Department is not good.
Right, this is their opportunity to make it good. That's what's so fucked up. You think they'd be so pissed off that these ICE agents are coming in there and like citizens, and
you would think,
and they're making more money than them with no training, and like you think they'd be like totally bitter. And you know what? If for no other reason, like these fucking guys are cops. They're not real cops, and we should like you know what I mean. It's just ridiculous to me.
Yeah, is it true, Mike, that Renee Good and George Floyd were murdered about a block away from each other?
No, it wasn't a block. Where were they? Was it? No, it was probably about 6-7 blocks.
Okay, because I heard it was like,
but it was close.
It was close.
It was close. It was very close. I'm going to pull up Kitty. Kitty, you're on the live. What's on your mind? Come on, Kitty. I know you can do it. Hello, Kitty.
Kitty's watching TV.
Oh, man. I take offense to that. I take offense that you asked to come up and then you're not there. Let's go with somebody else here. Okay, how about okay, and that was Janet, and nobody comes up. I think that's TikTok. That's not Janet. Um, oh boy. Let's try another one here. Yeah, nobody's fucking coming up. I tell you what, we're getting later, and there's one guy I know that will come up, and that of course is British John. No, he's not coming up either. Maybe it just takes a while. I don't know. It's hard to say what's going on with TikTok, and I want to take this moment in time for people listening on TikTok that because we don't know what's going on with TikTok, I'm not getting any violations or anything, so I think I'm safe in that regard. But sometimes you're not able to get to see everything that
Oh,
me
Gary's
or
here.
Yeah, but you're only
Gary who.
getting like 230 people, which you used to have 500. So
Gary will come
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
yeah, Gary will come up.
Okay. I
He's
don't know
right,
where Gary is.
he's right in the comments.
Gary Grack.
Yeah, but he's not. He hasn't requested to come up. Let's try Pamela.
Hey, good evening,
Hey,
everybody.
Pamela. Hey, how
Good
you doing?
evening.
What's up with you tonight?
I'll tell you, it's kind of like I was on here about a year ago, and I'm brought it to, and I was up here asking about the lunches or doing the school kids' lunches a few months ago. But last year about this time, I told everybody on the live, hey, keep an eye on this Stephen Miller. Because I was watching him the first time that he was in the White House, the first go round, and so now I've seen something yesterday on a creator's thing, and then something again today on another creator, completely different, and it was Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, both at this. It must have been a Jewish conference of some sort, because bragging about how much money that they're given to the Jewish people, and the key thing was Chuck Schumer actually saying, "I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure Israel has everything that it's needed." And then I was already upset about that. I've seen that, but then the creator today called Hakeem Jeffries' office, and she was like, I was doing some research of where you were at when this was going on and trying to tell you, you better talk to Schumer. And she goes, come find out you were there, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's something going on. I don't know if they're bidding for APAC money. I don't know what's going on, but I want to tell you something. The deck is stacked against us. We're out here trying to fight for our lives, and we do not have leaders that are fighting for us, you know. And she let Hakeem have it. She was like, we don't have health care, they've got health care. We don't have free education, they got free education. Like, when you guys gonna start fighting for us? You've got the wrong people that you're not fighting for. And I don't know. I think people just need to really start calling. I called Schumer Sunday twice. I called Hakeem today. I'm like on the phone every day with both of them. I'm like, you're going to lose your positions because we're not standing for this.
Well, I'll tell you this, Pamela. The thing about it is every time you speak out about giving money to Israel, everybody says, "Oh, you're an anti-Semite."
I don't want to hear it anymore.
No, I don't want to hear it anymore either, because it has nothing to do with that. It's not about religion in this particular case. This is about we're giving hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars to Israel and other countries. And we've got people who are losing health care, kids that aren't eating, people that are losing jobs, people that can't get jobs. What happened to the whole America First thing? Because it seems like it's America last right now in terms of everybody else is getting something, you know, whether it be Saudi Arabia, whether it be Israel, whether it be Argentina. We're sending money all over the fucking place, and we're taking it out of the coffers for people who actually need it in America. So this whole America First thing was a bunch of bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's Trump's thing. What I'm worried about is our leaders. We're winning all of these elections hands down 95%, 57%, 30%. And they're going to squash these votes with these corporate Dems. We have got to
Yeah.
get them out of office. They are under the old regime of Nancy Pelosi. Do everything the corporations because they give you the most money, blah, blah, blah. And we got to get them out of there. We have got to fight them as much as we do the MAGA. I mean,
Right.
it's just, the Epstein files, I think, has been thrown out here to throw us off of what's really going on in the country. And I think we're also being ambushed by our Democratic leadership. And we need to stand up and call them out every day, all day, call their offices every day, all day, and just let them have it constantly. That you
Well, I
better pull
tend to
away
agree
from the PAC money and the APAC and the super PACs and what have you, because we're not going to put up with this anymore. We're done with it.
Well, I tend to agree with you. I've often said I'm not a Republican or a Democrat because I don't join clubs run by fucked up people. Now, the Democrats are better than the Republicans because the Republicans are burning everything down. But you're absolutely right. We have a lot of problems with the Democratic side, the corporate side of Democrats, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, Nancy Pelosi, and all the rest. The one thing I'm enthused about is there are people like David Hogg who are out there
Yeah.
that are trying to set up primaries against these establishment Democrats. And I think that's an important effort to be made because we do have to get rid of them. I mean, we don't have Roe v. Wade codified because of fucking Democrats. We don't have universal health care because of Democrats. The Republicans are part of it, of course, but you would presume that the Democrats would be helping us on every level, but they are not. And we're right. We do need to get rid of those motherfuckers as quickly as possible.
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of feeling like not only are we fighting MAGA and Donald Trump and all of them, and then of course their corporate PACs on the red side, but I'm almost at the point of changing my registry to independent. My dad told me a long time ago, Republican never did anything for the working man. It's always been the
Yeah.
Democrats, whatever. So I've always voted Democrat, but I'm about ready to change. I am.
Well, here's the thing, Pamela. You got to remember, and this is where we ran into problems in 2024 November. There are people who will say, okay, we got a Republican versus a Democrat. Now, the Democrat isn't exactly what I want it to be, so I'm just going to stand back and either not vote or vote for the Republican. Those people who did that are part of the reason we are in this situation now. You got to take things a step at a time in this particular situation. Regardless of who the Democrat is running against Republican, you got to vote for the Democrat. Now, just hear me out on this. People have said to me, what are you going to do when the Republicans are out and Donald Trump is no longer the president? Then I'm going after Democrats that are fucking us over. We got to take it a step at a time. We got to get rid of the people burning down the house first, and then we got to focus on the people that aren't helping us. We got to take it a step at a time. We can't expect to fix everything all at once, and we can't expect every candidate to be exactly what we want them to be.
Yeah, and I get that, and it's like I feel sorry for you guys up there in Minnesota. I do. I mean, I live in Ohio, but and I seen that Alex, that brazen 10 in the back, and I don't care on what land that's not legal. I don't care, but when I see Schumer up there, we want him the mask to come off. We want him to have cameras, that they can turn off. We want him to have badge ID numbers. No, quit funding him. It'll all stop if you don't give him any more money. It automatically stops. We don't have to worry about cameras or badges or whistles or anything.
Well,
It just
we
stops.
we
It all
well,
stops.
that's exactly right. It's you got these criminals coming in, wreaking havoc, killing people, kidnapping children, and they're saying, "Well, we just need some more regulations. We got to take their masks off. We've got to train them better, and body cams." No, bitch, we want them gone. They're breaking the law. They're violating the Constitution as a representative or a senator. That should be what you're going for. Get them the fuck out of here. They have no business here. They're causing more problems than they claim to help. And that is the problem with the Chuck Schumers and all this stuff. They want to play the middle ground. They don't want to piss anybody off. We need people who are ready to go into office and piss off a lot of people and not be worried about whether they're going to get elected or not. Chuck Schumer, you're not going to get elected in 28. I guarantee you. People hate your fucking guts. Hakeem Jeffries, you might get elected, but I hope we get enough progressives in there to take him out of leadership. I don't know that we can kick Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries out, but we got to get enough young progressive people in there to vote them out of leadership, and then that changes the entire perspective of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I would like
Well,
to
now,
see. I would like to see either Elizabeth Warren or Chris Murphy in the Senate, and
Yeah,
somebody like Garcia up there as Speaker. Be like,
abs-
or even Jamie Raskin. I mean, because he is a constitutional lawyer, but I want somebody that knows what they're doing or willing to do something. Right now, we
have
don't
the
have
courage
anybody
to do it.
willing. And
Yeah,
that's what makes me upset. And I'm telling you, you got to just dial up there. I got their numbers on a notepad. I call them every day. I start my
yeah,
day, I
yeah.
drink my coffee, and then I call their office.
Absolutely. Well, Pamela, thank you very much for coming on. I
Thanks,
appreciate
honey.
it immensely. Feel free to come back anytime.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We're getting close to the end here. I'm going to see who else we've got out there.
Eric, was that noise you letting your puppy out?
yes,
Yeah,
it was.
Eric just got home and walked in the door.
I recognize that noise.
Just a little tip to you, Eric.
But
I got a tip for you, Eric. If you need to go to the bathroom, mute that motherfucker.
His puppy needed to go to the bathroom. I heard
Yeah, not me.
click, click.
Nothing
that
but
was
class on this show. Nothing but class
Yep.
on this show.
A note to what the last person said, though, about Schumer and Jeffries and everybody. Right
Yeah.
now, we are in the best spot we could be. We're in the middle of primary season. Fight
Right.
for the people you want to represent you. If you're in Hakeem Jeffries' district and you don't like what he's doing, vote against him in the primary. If you're in New York and you won't want Schumer, I know he's not up this time, but next time, vote against him in the primary. But then when it comes to it, if your guy doesn't win or your gal doesn't win, you still got to vote for the Democrat.
You do. And like I said, with Schumer, he's not up for re-election until 2028. But if you elect enough progressives and enough people that are on our side, we can get the fucker out of leadership, and that will help immensely.
Well, that will, but we can't do what we have had happen in the past. We had 2016. I talk about it all the time. People wanted Bernie. They didn't get Bernie. They went and they voted for either they didn't vote, they voted third party, or they voted for Trump because they were mad at the Democrats. Oh, I'm going to show those Democrats. It doesn't work that way. The Democrats don't learn when you do that. You have to back them, or we get somebody just as bad or worse than whoever you don't like in there.
Well, what I was saying to her, don't you agree with this? You got to take it a step at a time. Say Hakeem Jeffries is running against the Republicans. Say he's the nominee. We don't like Hakeem Jeffries, but we're better off being stuck with Hakeem Jeffries than the alternative, the Republican. But once Hakeem Jeffries is in and the Democrats have some power, then we can start working on Hakeem Jeffries. You got to take it a step at a time. You can't expect to win everything every time.
Exactly. I mean, we're sitting with the potential. I'm thinking they take the House by 40 seats. Well, if they take the House by 40 seats, that's going to be 30, 45 new people that are going to be voting for leadership. There's no guarantee Hakeem even gets leadership at that point.
Right, exactly. And hopefully he doesn't. I had a lot of high hopes for Hakeem Jeffries, but he's been nothing but a disappointment. He comes off as a wimp. He comes off as somebody who's taking money under the table and not serving us, and that
The
pisses me
second
off.
he became Nancy Pelosi's bitch, I wrote him off.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that. He is the leader in the House because of Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi basically placed him there. And Nancy Pelosi was fine when she was Speaker of the House, but her expiration date is way past. We
There
don't
are
need
moments.
Nancy Pelosi. Yeah. Let's see where we're at here. Well, we're coming toward the end here, so maybe we should wrap this up. I want to thank you guys for joining me, Trucker T, Eric, Rebecca, TJ, Will, and everybody else that joined us on the
Absolutely.
program. It seems like TikTok throttled us a bit, but we're still able to put on a good show in spite of TikTok at this point. For those of you that haven't heard the whole live, you can get it on Spotify and YouTube and Substack too. So you can get the podcast there,
Mike,
which is the live. Yeah.
don't forget about text messages.
Oh yeah. I keep forgetting the fucking number.
DJ knows your
it's-
number.
yeah.
Don't worry.
It's 952-522
Okay.
1399.
Right. We used to take questions by email, and email just gets buried with shit. And I'm too lazy to go through it all. But if you want to text me, text a message. We do answer the questions in the text messages on a separate podcast generally. By all means, text us a question, comment. If you want to tell me I suck. I already get plenty of that from my family, so go ahead. That's fine. Give the number again, TJ. 952.
It's 952-522-1399.
Imagine how lazy a motherfucker has to be who has a number and has to ask somebody else what that fucking number is. That is some
DJ's
lazy
just
shit.
good with numbers.
I am good with
Yeah.
numbers.
Okay. Well, that's perfect. Anyway, for those of you listening, I want to thank you for taking the time to do that. I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Bye, all.
Good night, guys.